I'm going to talk with Danny Morang, 1080 The Fan in Portland. He is the host of Danny and Dusty. One of my very favorite people, sneaky great person to talk basketball with, Danny. I'm calling you underrated. That's where I think we're at right now, man.
I'll take it. Underrated as opposed to overrated. Well, you're always climbing.
Yeah. So I want to just jump right in. How's the vibe up there in Portland post Damian Lillard trade?
It's kind of wild through all of the toxicity of, the initial trade request to Miami's arrogance to Portland being petty or spiteful, with it all being done and Dame going to Milwaukee and like going to join Giannis, like this wholesome basketball team that everybody just likes. Everybody here that I have talked to, everybody that I have run into is just like, I'm so stoked for this. He's going to go win like 3 titles with Giannis. So it's, I think folks right here just on the Dame front alone are genuinely excited about how this resolution came about. But I think people are also genuinely excited about DeAndre Ayton coming to Portland, and they're genuinely excited about the return that Drew Holiday is rumored to get for them.
Danny, I think this is interesting because you mentioned that everyone's kind of excited for him. Does the fact that he went to a place like Milwaukee, which is, it's kind of in the same category as a Portland or a Sacramento, as far as like a smaller market team, sort of a really hyper focused on that specific team in their market. Does it make everyone feel better that he's not going and chasing a title in sunny Miami for a team that's always great and you just feel kind of dirty about it? Because it kind of feels that way for me.
Yeah, no, that's a real thing. And I started thinking about this last night. I wonder how Dame would have been viewed legacy wise had he gone to Miami. Would he have gotten? I think people look at Kevin Durant now and forget that he was one of the like highest rated, Q-rated, beloved players in the entire league when he was in Oklahoma City. The second he went to Golden State, poof, gone. Every bit of that equity. And I wonder if that would have happened to Dame, where in this reality, he goes to Milwaukee. I genuinely think because it's Giannis and because it's a small market, it not only helps, like keeps his legacy where it was, it might actually help it.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'm talking with Danny Morang, 1080 The Fan in Portland. Now, that's fascinating that you bring that up because, like, I don't think he would have. What am I trying to say? I think he's in a better spot in Milwaukee. He has a faster track to a title in Milwaukee than he would have in Miami, if that makes sense.
100%. The Milwaukee with Damian Lillard. Look, I have talked to Dame throughout his entire career. I've covered every single one of his games. I know the guy inside and out. He has for years gone back and forth with Giannis about coming to Portland, and Giannis has done the same with him about coming to Milwaukee. There is no better pairing for those two players than those two. Like, as good as Drew was, he doesn't accentuate what Giannis does perfectly. As good as LaMarcus was for Dame, Giannis is one of the top 20 players to ever play the game. Yeah. Like, I said it yesterday. Forget putting Brook Lopez in the opposite corner and Chris Middleton on the weak side break. Just trying to cover a Damian Lillard, Giannis Antetokounmpo pick and roll is going to fundamentally break teams. Are you going to allow Giannis to play 4-on-3 in the short roll all game? No. Are you going to go under Damian Lamont, Ollie Lillard Sr. all game? No. And that's before you even get to Lopez and Middleton breaking your back with floor spacing. So offensively, man, if they're healthy, they should run through the NBA. I don't think we've seen a duo like this that makes more sense. I mean, you can argue, I guess, Steph and Clay because of their shooting prowess, but I don't know if that's necessarily fit as much as just supreme skill sets. I look at Dame and Giannis, and I think it's supreme skill sets and quite literally the best fit possible.
Yeah.
You know, Danny, you brought something up there about what people in Portland think they're going to get for Drew Holiday. What is it that you're hearing, or where do you think he's going? What's his next stop? And this is really, to me, it's the big thing. I'm not a believer in DeAndre Ayton like a lot of people are, but I get it why Portland would be excited about him, especially with their track record of injuries with big men. But when it comes to Drew, you need to get draft capital. You need to get young players, and you need to let Mike Schmidt do his thing, the assistant GM up there.
Yeah, so the way that I've kind of categorized acquiring Drew Holiday is the turning a paperclip into a house analogy. And I'm not saying, Drew Holiday is a paperclip. I'm just saying you're taking one asset, trading it for others, and then for others, then for others, and then for others, however you can do it. As I've heard it now, a lot of teams have checked in on Drew Holiday. It's not that Drew's better than Dame. It's just you can talk yourself into Drew Holiday fitting into your team very easily. Hell, in Sacramento, you can talk yourself into Drew Holiday bolstering that defense and playing alongside De'Aaron Fox very easily. I don't think that's something going, we shouldn't do that. No, you should definitely take a look at it. You were the third seed in the West last year. You should call. You should see what you can do. You have the draft capital. See what's going on there. And that's what's happening across the league right now, because Drew Holiday 3 days ago, no one thought he was going to be available. And so you've got a lot of very good teams that are interested in Drew Holiday. And I've heard that there's been 6, 7, 8 teams that have registered a real interest where Portland could get draft capital and veteran players.
Wow.
And those veteran players could be moved further again for more draft capital.
Man, love that. Love that for Portland. Love what they're doing up there. It's Danny Morang. I love what you're doing up there too at 1080 The Fan, Danny. Is this a move that you think Portland should have pulled the trigger on sooner, or was the timing right here?
I think they found the right timing. They were never going to do anything quick, especially with how the rollout of the trade request process. But it became very clear that they wanted to get it done before camp. There was definitely some talk locally about if the offer didn't reach a certain level, that they would be comfortable bringing Damian Lillard to camp. But I know for a fact that Damian Lillard would have reported and would have played.
Wow.
I know that was 100% on the table. So, it's interesting that in all of this discussion, it was always only Miami. And I'm seeing some of the, I don't know, the benefit of hindsight articles that are coming out from some publications saying not only, did the process change a little bit at the back end where, Miami would have offered X, Y, and Z if they had only we're getting a full Danny Ainge treatment on this, and it's not even a day removed. But what's also interesting here is that the thing happened that nobody said would happen. Damian Lillard expanded his list.
Right.
He added Milwaukee and Brooklyn.
Were you surprised by the trade request, given how often Dame has said he's committed to playing in Portland?
No, I wasn't. I without getting into too much, I'm pretty close with Dame, and I had a very strong suspicion that was coming a couple weeks out. I wasn't 100% until it got closer, but yeah, it was not a surprise, particularly after draft night.
Yeah, I want to finish with this, Danny. Dame goes to Milwaukee. Giannis said balked at signing his max offer sheet. Does this change everything for the Bucks? Does he put pen to paper? And do you think that this is a tandem we're going to see for the next, 5 years in Milwaukee?
I think you're definitely going to see it for the next 3 years. 100%. Even everybody wants to talk about how ugly things have got with Portland and Dame over the last couple of months. I think when this is all said and done, Dame comes home. I think he does a victory tour here, and hopefully he has a chip in his hand from Milwaukee. As far as Giannis, the interesting thing about Dame going to Milwaukee, not only does it make Milwaukee the title favorite, not only does it make the Miami Heat's rival better, it keeps Giannis off the table for Miami. But it's also kind of funny. they didn't have the assets to get Damian Lillard. I don't know how they could talk themselves into thinking they had the assets to go get Giannis Antetokounmpo. So it's kind of an interesting spot to be, but you got to give Giannis a ton of credit right here. Twice he has put pressure on that Bucks organization, and you got to get a Bucks credit. Twice they have gone out and got him a star guard to pair with him.
Yep.
Gotta love it. All right. That is Danny Morang, host of Danny and Dusty on 1080 The Fan in Portland. Danny, thanks so much for joining us.